Ladies and gentlemen, Doctor Who is back on the air, and as a consequence of that, so are we. Welcome to Doctor Who Reviews. I'm your host, Rainiac, and with me are two very special guests. Firstly, to my immediate virtual left, he never met a mirror that he didn't like and then wrote 10,000 words about on an online blog. It's FreezingInferno!
I can't believe you're stealing this shit from Polly. She's going to beat you with a tire iron.
I know. And to my immediate virtual right, the hostess with the mostest that bakes cookies the mostest, that got away from me. It's Kat!
Hello, everybody! And really fast, I want to remind everybody of the rules of the Doctor Who review drinking game. You take one shot if something about the music is talked about. You take 2 shots if there's a reference to any of the old series. You drink the whole fucking bottle if Frez talks about mirrors, because guess what's back, bitches?
Looking at my notes, at least,
you're all gonna goddamn die!
Yeah, looking at my notes for this episode, I'm already going to come to alcohol poisoning within half an hour.
Wait, you have notes? I just have a huge piece of paper that has
Half an
mirrors
hour?
written all over
You're being
it.
generous.
Oh, I missed this. So yes, Doctor Who bounced back onto our screens with the pilot, which had a rather clever double meaning, which we'll get into a bit later on. But yeah, this was a rather interesting episode. I'm going to throw it open to you two first. Fresno, what were your first thoughts on the pilot?
I really liked it. I don't know if it's going to hold up as like an all-time classic of Doctor Who or anything like that, but on 2 watches, I really had fun with this episode.
Okay. Kat, your first thoughts on the pilot?
I had a lot of fun with it, although, to be fair, the first time I watched it was after a very long day at work at midnight, so...
Yes, you may have not been in the best of spirits.
Otherwise, I thought it was really fun. It was great to see all the different references, and I liked Bill and what she brought to the table.
Yes. And now we're going to go in depth into some of those things and other things that haven't been mentioned. Firstly, then, we've got a rather different Doctor to deal with in this episode. In some respects, he was almost like the secondary character, which was weird.
Well, it's not the first time we've seen it with him.
Yeah, but this being the companion story, well, I suppose it being the companion introduction story, you wanted to focus on the companion mostly. But anyway, we have a bit of backstory for the Doctor, what he's been up to between now and, what's it called? The Ghost, the Return Doctor Mysterio.
Doctor Mysterio, yeah.
And I call myself a reviewer, not remembering episode titles. So 70 years, roughly, have passed since then. He's been staying on Earth.
I thought it was 50.
I thought it was 70, but...
Between 50 and 70 years.
Between 50 and 70 years. 57. Let's take a middle figure. He's been staying on Earth between 50 and 70 years, and he's mentioning some kind of promise. And that promise refers to this mysterious vault that we see. AKA the MacGuffin for Series 10.
Can I just say, I like this. It's a bit of a change, in a way, because if it is indeed the series arc, it's based on the Doctor knowing more than us, rather than us knowing more than the Doctor. You know, like, with the Missy arc, it was just, you had this cutaway with, ooh, I'm going to get that lovely Doctor. And with Series 9, it was hybrid, what's a hybrid? But now it's like, there's a vault, and there's something in it, and we don't know, but he knows, probably. So what the hell could it be?
I'm fine with that, as long as one thing happens. We don't have it constantly rammed down our throats about the vault. We don't get shots of the vault every episode. We have it running in the background, and occasionally it might be mentioned in dialogue.
Well, the hybrid was kind of like that, but then again, the hybrid is the Shaggy Dog story, which Moffat sure fucking loves, so...
No, the hybrid was forced down our throats from episode 5 onwards.
I guess. That's true. I don't remember it that much.
He literally says of a shield that she's a hybrid.
Oh, that's right. It's been like 2 years, okay?
That's not... I can't believe it's been 2 years since the last full series, but you're right. But yeah, hopefully they don't signpost it as much, and hopefully the payoff to what is in the vault, because you know we're going to find out eventually. Or maybe we won't.
Shaggy Dog story, calling it now. It's
this being Stephen Moffat, maybe we won't find out, although it's his final full series.
It's a Stephen Moffat thing. The whole thing is going to be built up so that it didn't actually really matter. I mean,
we better find out.
Much.
I don't care if it doesn't matter.
You know what? I'm going to make a prediction right here, right now. When we finally get to the part where the vault opens, like, I don't know, it's going to be like the Pandorica opens, where we have, like, all the enemies of the Doctor come around. They're trying to get this vault. They open it up. There's a vacuum-sealed package of Jammy Dodgers inside.
I love it.
And the Doctor comes in, no, I've been saving those!
No, I think I know exactly what's in the vault.
No, Kat. With all the Tom Baker references in the pilot, it's going to be a pack of Jelly Babies.
You're on the right track.
Or actually, maybe the actor himself will be in there.
They're on the right track, Fresno, but I think it's a different old Doctor that you're referring to. I think we're looking at a McCoy reference here, Sylvester McCoy. The vault opens, and there on the floor is a bowl of unlimited rice pudding.
You son of a bitch.
It's bigger on the inside. Deal with it. But yeah, whatever happens...
I keep eating, but it doesn't end.
Whatever turns out to be in that vault, I don't care at the moment. I'm not going to speculate. As long as it's a good payoff, it's a satisfying payoff. It's not Series 8 like Missy Mistress Master.
What was wrong with that?
You're the one that raged about it, and I'm the one that said it was okay. And
I was raging about, like you said, having it shoved down my throat every episode.
Yes. I'm a mystery. We
opened the vault to Ronnie's inside.
Oh, God.
Don't even joke.
But the twist is, it's played by a man.
Oh, no.
and then Tumblr melts down.
Oh, God. Don't.
But yeah, I thought Capaldi was his usual good self. Interesting that he was a lecturer or a professor at the university, St. Luke's University in Bristol.
Classic series homage.
Take 3 shots, guys.
I mean, y'all were already referencing Jelly Babies Unlimited Rice Pudding. They're drunk as fuck by now.
Very true.
Yeah, but the whole thing with a Time Lord as a professor in a college is sort of like Shada, which was the Douglas Adams story that never actually got finished. In that one, there's an old Time Lord who's retired and he's gone to Cambridge, and his office is his TARDIS. So,
yeah. And of course, he was called the Professor. Again, I'm sorry for the people indulging in the drinking game. Ace called him the Professor, didn't she?
She sure did.
So there's a callback there.
And you know what? While we're talking about the Doctor and getting people drunk, let's just go ahead and get out of the way all the fucking references that are not only in his, on his desk in his office.
Well, would you believe it? I've actually compiled all of the Easter eggs and references.
Oh boy!
In one handy guide. So strap
get your
yourselves
drinks
in.
ready, kids.
Most of these were on his desk in his office.
Yep.
So the obvious one, Susan and Rivers' photographs on the desk.
Yep.
Which actually played in a tiny part to the end of the episode, which was nice. Where he sends Bill off and is like, I promised I can't do this anymore. You shut up. You also shut up.
And they turn to the TARDIS and you shut up.
Yeah. The TARDIS sort of makes a noise, or maybe it just makes a noise in his own head. But those were there prevalent. Also on the desk, a whole lot of sonic screwdrivers.
Old ones, too.
An entire pot of old sonic screwdrivers, which is odd because didn't one of them get destroyed in the Visitation?
Oh my god, he even knows the name of the episode. That's right. They wrote out the sonic screwdriver in the show in the 80s because they thought it made the Doctor too powerful. And then in 2005, he uses it to solve every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So...
Also on the desk, these are contentious ones. They may not be what they were intended to be. I thought I saw a raven, like a model of a raven.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And next to it, a representation of the time stream that we see in Name of the Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I
that
didn't notice that.
the Great Intelligence jumps into.
There is one I noticed. Well, I don't know if you're going to get to. Oh, my God. Holy shit. You just linked the picture. Put it on screen right here.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's it. That's the raven in the time stream.
Put it in post.
We'll fix it in post. This isn't post. Shit.
I prefer Kellogg.
Oh, that was bad, but I still laughed.
Really?
Damn right you did. Story
Really?
of my life.
Another one you might not have noticed, Beethoven's bust.
Oh,
is in the
Christ.
office.
It was kind of hard to miss that when he played a fucking Beethoven song on his guitar.
It wasn't Beethoven. It was the title sequence again from Before the Flood.
I'm pretty fucking sure that he played Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
He might have done actually. He might have. He also had a he also had a bust of Shakespeare that we haven't seen before. But people thought that might be a sly reference to Bill. William Shakespeare, Bill Shakespeare, Bill.
Oh.
And here's a production one. His blackboard that he was using in the lecture is a reused prop from class.
Neat.
Oh, and just one you forgot. There's apparently a stained glass portrait of Robin of Locksley.
Oh,
I didn't see that one. But good eye.
Well, there's one I noticed. I don't know if you were going to get to, but the TARDIS has a little out of order sign on it, and there was a story in a first Doctor story called The War Machines, where he lands in 60s London and puts an out of order sign on the TARDIS so that the police won't try to get in there.
Yeah. So that's a tie into Susan's portrait. And the whole reason we have all these references is that Stephen Moffat actually had a very specific aim in mind for the pilot. It's kind of the reason why it's called the pilot.
The reason we had all these references is because we're all a bunch of fucking nerds.
Well, that too. But Stephen Moffat created this episode to be a jumping on point for new viewers.
I don't know how I feel about that.
He said it in an interview. Yeah, that's kind of strange, isn't it?
Hold on. So he makes this a thing for new viewers, and then he puts the fucking Movellians in there?
Yeah.
Well, they don't actually say the name.
They don't get a mention on screen. It's just like, we're here to see some old friends. No, not those old friends. One guy gets blown into the wall.
Yeah.
That was great.
So so to anyone who actually did jump on, but it's just a bunch of future guys getting the shit beat out of them by
Boney M rejects. Boney M rejects.
Boney M rejects.
By the rivers of Baba.
Rah rah Rasputin love.
Okay, for anyone who's still not completely drunk, welcome to the rest of the review.
Don't worry, if they're not dead yet, I'll kill them.
We are just going to run this drinking.
We're still getting to that.
We're just going to run this drinking game into the ground, aren't we?
Oh man!
God damn it, Kat. But yeah,
we'll have to cancel it by the end of this episode, just because we have killed so many.
Yes, we don't want to kill people. We don't want to kill people. What was I going to say? Yeah, the reason why it's called the pilot is kind of a double meaning. One is to do with the episode itself, the fuel using Heather as a pilot. But also, it refers to a televisual pilot. The very first episode of the series. So Moffat's being a little cheeky here. But here's the weird thing.
Stephen Moffat being cheeky?
If this is meant to be a reboot...
Take a shot.
Or a soft reboot to introduce people to the show again, right? Mm-hmm. We are getting a new showrunner and a new lead actor, whoever that may be, we still don't know yet, in 2018. So the timing on this is a bit weird.
Well, here's the thing. Well, the lead writers thing I know is true, but think about I can kind of defend this. Think about the very first Eccleston series, the first series of the revival. You got a new doctor, you got a new companion, and well, bam! At the end of that, poof, he changed.
He changed. The companion stayed the same. The writer stayed the same.
Yeah,
How many years were between the 7th and the 9th Doctors?
Too many.
Are we counting Paul McGann?
We can count Paul McGann.
We're not counting Paul McGann.
We're not counting Paul McGann.
16!
How many years were between this series and the last series?
2. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, like Rainiac said, they're having a new showrunner. They're going to have a new doctor. What the fuck? The only explanation I have at the moment is that it's Moffat.
Yeah.
I mean, this is good enough as any.
To be honest, It's Moffat pretty much sums up this entire episode.
It's Moffat pretty much sums up this entire goddamn decade.
Yes, but it's for both good reasons and bad reasons. But, oh yeah, one thing to mention before we move on from the Doctor, he got one of the lines of the episode when he's talking about how people mistake evil and hungry for the same thing. Do you think your bacon sandwich loves you back?
That's good. If we're talking about good Doctor ones, I also loved his lecture. That was really good.
Where he name-dropped Time and Relative Dimension in Space. Take a shot!
Yeah.
Well, actually, Rainiac, I'm pretty sure David Cameron's bacon sandwich loves him back. By the way, take 5 shots.
We're done. We're done. Thank you very much for watching the review of the pilot. We're not really done. But, I need a second to recover from that.
That was good. That's just when you least expect
Look, if Fresno can have the Donald Trump peeing thing, then Piggate is going to be my thing for the rest of forever.
I thought my thing was mirrors.
The best thing, you're allowed to have more than one thing. The best thing about that is that Cameron is no longer the Prime Minister, and the meme has actually outlived his tenure as Prime Minister.
The meme will never die.
I can't even say the words. That the words are not coming freely.
Great! Wow, you really are playing the drinking game a little too hard. You should probably calm down. We should probably calm down and talk more about Doctor.
Do we think there's going to be a major consequence to the Doctor breaking his unknown promise?
Probably.
I'm not sure. It could be the reason why horrible things happen to him in the future. It might not. You never really know with Moffat.
Find out, I guess.
I guess it all depends on who he made the promise to.
Yeah. Well, there were some slightly Gallifreyan-esque markings on the vault, but that might just be a red herring.
Plus, I mean, he's not exactly in great with the... Well, no, they changed the people who are in charge of Gallifrey. So
no, he's not in great. He's not in good with the Time Lords. You're absolutely right.
He's really not. He's never has been.
The events of Hellbent have kind of destroyed that.
Although, actually, it would make sense if it was the Time Lords, because this could be a pseudo punishment for the Doctor, having to stay in one frickin' place for all of eternity.
Well, I mean, and take a drink again, kids. They already did that in the show when, at the end of the second Doctor's tenure, they caught up with him and charged him and put him on trial and whatnot.
And then threw the poor bastard into an abyss.
They sentenced him to exile on Earth in the 70s and made him regenerate into John Pertwee.
They threw the poor bastard into an abyss.
Yep, and he turned into John Pertwee, and they took away his power to use the TARDIS for a couple of years. So.
Yeah, but
Isn't that the movie?
The movie?
What? No.
No,
sure?
the movie, The Master is the one that's punished.
What? No.
What?
Oh,
I'm very confused. Take a shot.
Are you referring to that other film we must never mention?
The really shitty one with Pertwee or whatever the fuck his name, whoever the fuck that guy was, who was the 8th Doctor.
Oh, Paul McGann. Yeah, you're getting confused.
Paul.
You're very confused.
I'm very confused.
That has nothing to do with that plot, but it's also
Doctor,
bad.
8th Doctor, potato. Let's call the whole thing dumb. But the Doctor was not, strictly speaking, the star of this episode. The star of this episode was the one...
Bill!
Yeah, Bill Potts.
Bill.
Very much her episode, very much her... Well, I hesitate to call it an Origins episode. Originger?
Take a shot.
Why would
take
a shot? There was no
club the line. Take a shot.
There was no about me flipping apart. Okay, but yes, Bill is the star of the show here. I think the whole point of this episode was to introduce her to the audience and sort of warm her up to the audience. Do you think that succeeded?
Yes.
Did it succeed for you two?
Yes.
The jury's out for me on Bill. I think she was better here than she was in the first clip a year ago that they used to introduce. So introducing Pearl Mackie as Bill.
How am I going to remember that shit?
It was in the episode, parts of it.
Parts of it.
They reused parts of the Dalek monologue in the episode. It's basically Bill and the Doctor are trapped on the Dalek base in the teaser a year ago, and Bill asks a load of annoying questions. And he says, we've got to get back to 2017. Now we know why they had to go back to 2017, because of the Vault. So that's interesting. But a lot of that dialogue was cut, and was all the better for it, because those were most of the most annoying lines that Bill ever uttered in the whole of her tenure so far.
I don't remember them, so all I have is this.
So,
really like
certainly an improvement on what I thought Bill was going to be. I thought she was going to be annoying, sort of,
you thought she was going to be, the Jill Grant companion of, Doctor, what's that? Doctor, what's happening? Doctor, Doctor,
yeah,
Doctor.
a little bit like that. Like Donna, but not as good.
Oh.
And I don't think she's going to be that at all, which is good.
Well, to be fair, at the end of the episode, he tries to wipe her mind like he did Donna's.
Well, and Clara.
And Clara.
Well, we're going to get to that. When
we even get a little bit of a blast of Clara's thing. Take a shot.
I was going to say that. You took it from me. Motherfucker.
The best thing is, whenever I say take a shot, I'm looking over to the side and you can't see it, but I am. I don't know why I'm doing that, but...
Because I'm at your virtual right.
Ah, yes. Yes. Please, Polly, don't beat me with the tie around too badly. No, we're fine. She doesn't even listen to these.
Or does she?
I'll know in the comments in about 2 days' time.
Well, just remember, Frez actually knows her and knows how to contact her, so she.
Yes, I do too. I've appeared on one of her podcasts.
And the truth has come out.
Yeah, the trick is I'm not going to tell her until Fresno grasses me out, and then I get beat with a tire iron.
Hey, Polly, if you're listening, I've got a sock full of rocks that you can also use.
Socks make people bloody.
Oh, now she's definitely going to have to listen to it.
Oh.
Good night, folks.
Never mind 10%. Polly's going to own this podcast by the time we're done here.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay.
Can I say what I like about Bill?
You can. And is this where I
can...
Yeah, go on.
Other than her being, well, generally charming and whatnot, and just, she's fun. She's fun. She's great. She's gay. And there's another thing that I like about her is that she's trope savvy in a way. Like, she likes sci-fi stuff, so she knows that the puddle is very sci-fi, and she knows the Doctor's obviously going to mind wipe her. It's interesting. I don't think we've ever had a companion that's been really trope savvy.
I like
before.
that.
I mean, Clara did have a line in Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, which is otherwise, where it's like storytelling 101. Good guys don't have zombies in here.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really Clara's thing, was being story savvy. Hers was just being, I don't need to say it, do I?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. She's genre savvy, is what you're trying to get across.
Yeah. I like that. If they go on with that in the other stories, that'll be an interesting way to make her unique.
Yeah,
stand out and be competent in the wide world of space and time.
I breathed a sigh of relief when I heard that line about the mind wipe, because it says to me she's not going to be incompetent.
Good.
She does possess a degree of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know this because she's getting like 80% on her essays that she's
handing off to the Doctor. And she figures out the trick with the pilot, the puddle, the whatever.
Yes, she does. She does. You mean the whole thing about the faces being asymmetrical?
I meant the whole thing about why Puddle is chasing me.
Oh, right. Yes, you're right. Yeah, well, I want to talk about the puddle, as you call it, a bit later on. But
oh, yeah, don't worry. We'll
I do like her. I think there's room for improvement, but I like her. And the general consensus from people that watch the episode is they like Bill Potts.
I mean, you know that we have a goddamn high bar to clear for me personally with the last companion, but
yeah,
she's nice.
We seem to be in the minority there. People are saying, thank God Clara's off the show. And I will fight those people in real life, by the way, but...
And for those wondering, take a shot because Kuchiri's opinion is different from mine and Fresno's.
How many goddamn rules does this drinking game have?
He's so not appearing...
a fucking list.
Poor Kuchiri is so not appearing in this review, and you're still having a go at him.
Duh. You say that like you're surprised.
Well, at least you're honest about it.
Holy shit. Okay.
Kuchiri is truly the butt monkey today.
Oh, God.
If you're listening, man, she made me say it. One thing about Bill, you already touched on it, you say, she's gay. And yes, she is gay. Which led to a rather amusing article that said, Bill Potts is the first gay companion in the title. And I said, oh yeah, Captain Jack Harkness says hi. And then people messaged me on Twitter saying, actually, Captain Jack is pansexual, don't you know this?
He's omnisexual, I thought.
Yeah, well, omni.
Does it move? Okay, I'm for it.
And I mean,
it's very daft. It's very daft. I mean, they were sort of.
Clara was pretty bi-coded too. I mean,
yeah, she's not Jane Austen, but it was pretty hilarious that the media was sort of touting this character as the first gay companion, like ignoring the fact that there's been gay characters in Doctor Who for eons since the show came back, or gay or bisexual anyway. But there was an interview about a week or two ago where Pearl Mackie revealed that Bill was gay. But she said it wouldn't be a defining trait of her character, which I approve of.
That's good.
Because there should be more to character than just he or she is gay. That's what I mean. This is not me being a homophobe. I'm fine with her being gay.
This isn't my lane. I'm not really qualified.
I'm fine with her being gay. That's absolutely fine, as long as it's not just token gay girl.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Is that fair, or am I outing myself as a raging bigot?
I am not qualified to answer.
As someone who actually is bi.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. We got the person who's qualified to.
And I will say, the way they handled it is actually really good. Just because they don't fucking throw it in your face like, oh, by the way, this character is gay.
Yeah, there's a few references. There's a few references. One of her first lines is when she said, actually, I don't look at men, or something along those lines, which is pretty much kind of revealed that she was gay. And also the whole plot of the episode is that she got a gay crush on Heather.
I would say they added in that I don't look at men line specifically just for the people who might not understand the subtlety of what's going on.
And also to maybe...
Which again was really good.
Make it official, like, totally canon too. Just none of this. Oh, I'm baking, sure. That some people might get on with. No,
I'm just hoping, and again, I don't want to upset the gay and bi people that are in here or
You're fine.
are listening to this. I kind of hope that her sexuality being part of the plot is a one-off.
I'm going to be straight with you, which is impossible for me.
That's good.
Yes,
but honestly, that's what a lot of gay people want. They don't want the token gay character, speaking all flamboyantly and throwing rainbows around along with glitter.
Yeah,
they want someone
a well-written character who happens to be gay.
Yeah, they just want. Oh, by the way, they're gay. Okay,
I'm just trying to tiptoe around so I don't upset people. But
it's like if you've watched the Harry Potter movies, right?
I have.
Yeah.
You know that part in, I want to say, the 6th movie where Dumbledore picks up a sewing magazine and is like, can I take this? Okay, bye. That was a bit iffy.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you don't want thrown in your face, because it was, they had that whole thing where the people wanted to talk about how he had a crush on a girl, and J.K. Rowling's like, hey guys, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah, I remember that press conference and the whoops of delight when it was revealed that Dumbledore was actually gay. But
it's like, had they just left it plain as it is, That would have been fine, but no, he has to pick up a magazine and go, "Can I take this sewing magazine? I love the knitting thing."
Yeah, but
That's a little too far.
I agree with you. But yeah, general consensus so far is a good first impression for Bill. And I'm certainly happy she's not going to be the annoying companion type I thought we were going to get when I saw her in the first teaser. So that's good.
We'll see how well it does in future episodes. But for now, I like it.
Little bit of trivia then. I believe this is the first time that a companion in the new era of Doctor Who has had their first major journey in the TARDIS, actually in the story they're introduced and not the story afterwards. I believe. I mean, yeah, Clara did a bit of travelling, but that was not in time or off-world. It was just to get to the shard.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because Rose was just running throughout the city away from the plastic people.
And then had her first trip
Martha
in the end of the world.
Martha was on the moon.
And then
Donna appeared in the TARDIS.
Yes, that technically counts. Although if we count her full companion run, Partners in Crime, she doesn't go off-world until the end. And then her first story is The Fires of Pompeii.
Leaves at the end with him.
Yeah. So I think I'm right. I think I'm more or less right. So that's an interesting break with tradition that I kind of like, actually. And she also gets
another break with tradition. You said it took her forever to get what the TARDIS is.
Yes, it's like a kitchen. What?
A space kitchen.
Yeah. And then, did you run out of money for the doors?
Oh
was a great line.
It's a lift.
Yeah. Did you run out of money for the doors? Was a great line. She had a better line. But when they run to the puddle. How do you run like that? Like what? Like a pig with his house on fire. Ergonomics.
Great.
Yeah. So far, the chemistry, the Doctor and Bill's chemistry, not bad at all. And they've got room to explore and grow that, and I like that very much. So
Plus, she might actually understand what he says half the time. Possibly.
And it's interesting that instead of like with Clara, where we had a character that had very little definition and personality at first, and then they built on it as the series went on. Here we got quite a defined personality already.
Yep.
So they're taking a different approach, and I applaud that. Because it allows the companion to feel different and unique, which she should. She shouldn't just be Clara 2.0 or Donna 2.0 or Martha II or whatever.
I wouldn't want that. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I want somebody completely different.
She should be an individual. She should be Bill Potts the first, the only.
And that's what she is.
We also had a second companion, if you can call him that. Nardole was back. Honestly,
I saw something on some forum somewhere comparing Nardole to like a human K9, which
you might be onto something there. Honestly, I was a bit disappointed with Nardole.
The one thing I want to know is, at the beginning, when he first escorts Bill into the room, something falls either from his hand or from him.
It's from him, and he's a robot now.
Okay.
Or at least partially robotic, because that's how he got his head back onto a body.
Yeah, he lost his body in Husbands, and the Doctor made him...
Because, see, I wanted to say that he was most likely a robot, but I also didn't want to say that, because half the time I turned out to be wrong.
No, on this occasion, I think you're right. He's either fully robotic or partially robotic. I think his head is flesh, but maybe he's got a cyborg body now.
Maybe they, repurpose the body that he was trapped in.
Yeah. But he didn't actually do a whole lot, did he? I mean, he quarantined the Daleks. That in itself was a bit of a...
He had some nice lines. Like when Bill finally figures out the TARDIS is bigger on the inside, he says, "Hey, we got there!"
Yeah, well, hey, we got there. That was good. But he felt like a bolt-on.
Nardole, run interference. Can I say no, sir? No. Yes, sir. I don't like it.
I want to say I actually like him like this.
I do like him.
Because he has the chance to say funny stuff, which he's a comedian, right?
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
So he has the chance to say funny stuff, but he's not integral to the plot.
The problem is, I just think he felt like a last-minute addition, and if you took him out of any scene he was in and repurposed it a bit, you would lose nothing of value. Yeah. I mean, when the puddle attacks in Australia, he's not there at all. Presumably he's still in the TARDIS. See, I don't usually like Matt Lucas in things. I didn't really like him in The Husbands of River Song. He actually surprised me in a good way in The Return of Dr. Mysterio. And here again, he's kind of 50-50. Parts of him I like and parts of him I didn't. The stuff he did do was kind of funny, but he didn't do a lot of it. I don't know. And if he's going to be in the whole series, is it going to be all of that, like he just shows up at random times? Not sure I like that.
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah. But that was really
I
all
don't
he
remember, you guys might remember this better, but I don't remember him being on the TARDIS at the end when Bill got invited to go traveling with the Doctor.
I believe he stays in the TARDIS most of the time.
I honestly don't know. Maybe we'll have the chance where he'll be the one staying with the Vault just to sort of keep, humongous air quotes, the promise that the Doctor has.
There's your plot cement, isn't it? He's either on the TARDIS or he's back at the Vault keeping a guard on it. Which actually makes a lot of sense, because I think it was said that he wouldn't be in every episode, Matt Lucas. So maybe you've hit the nail on the head.
Maybe.
We don't know. Now, the original title for this episode was not actually the pilot. It was A Star in Her Eye, as I actually mentioned in our Series 9 recap video.
Fun fact, actually. I'm in Canada, right? So the show airs on the Space Channel up here.
Wait, you're in Canada?
Yeah.
We never knew.
Yeah, and anyway, so what I do for these, and for my own little reviews, is I watch it as it airs on the Space Channel, and then the next day I go onto their website where they host it for like a week, just catch up bullshit, and I watch it on their website to do the rewatch. The rewatch on the website, they still have the episode listed as A Star in Her Eye, which is strange.
Yeah. Because that was the original title.
Honestly, I like it a lot better than the pilot.
Yeah, but they still both refer to Heather, but I think I prefer A Star in Her Eye to the pilot as well, but it is what it is. It's not the first time they've changed episodes' titles at the last minute. In fact, once they changed an episode title about a week before it aired. Forest of the Dead was originally called River's Run.
Oh, interesting.
And was even marketed as River's Run, and then when the episode aired, it said Forest of the Dead. Like, what's on with that? And I think they changed it because it was a bit of a spoiler. Because it sounds like River's Run, therefore River's dead. The river has run its course. I think that's what it meant. But yeah, the reason why it was called A Star in Her Eye originally is the other major character, Heather. What are our thoughts on Heather? Both her real version and the monster version.
Fine.
My only problem with her is, why is there a fucking star in her eye?
Yeah, I tried to do some research on whether this defect exists in real life or not.
So do I, and I found pictures that show you can have a pseudo star in your eye, but it's not 5-pointed, it's not perfect like hers was.
Yeah.
And it comes with a lot of visual defects.
It was mostly news, I think, just for a visual, striking visual, and for a bit of a plot.
Pisses me off.
See, I can just hand wave it away any weird feels and shit, because this is a dumb space show with a phone box. So
it did lead to a nice visual of a Dalek with a star in its eye, which I thought was great.
So it could be just some sort of weird alien thing.
Yeah.
Half alien bullshit. Who knows? Maybe that's why Heather was compatible with the pilot.
I'll be honest. At first, I thought she was like she wasn't human, because she was acting a bit weird and she had a star in her eye. But she was human.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, she was trying to lure Bill into the puddle or something.
Yeah.
She was like the monster of the week.
But
and then it turned out she was the monster of the week.
Yeah. I tell you who was not very happy about the star in Heather's eye.
The actual actress?
No, he won't like me for saying this, but my dad. My dad's got heterochromia, which means that one eye is a different colour to the other. And he saw it, he took one look at it and went, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And then he went back to sleep.
But no, that makes sense because heterochromia is a real fucking thing that makes you look different. Yeah. They could have used that. No, instead they put a fucking star contact in her eye and say, they don't say it's a star contact in the fucking episode. They say, oh, it's a defect. I'm getting it fixed later. It's not a fucking defect. It's a fucking contact.
Whoa, Kat, take it down a notch.
This is the eyebrows from Rose all over again.
Take it down a notch. It's okay. It's okay. But I liked normal or real or actual Heather, whatever you want to call her, quite a bit, actually, because she was shy and she was quiet, but she clearly had intelligence. She figured out what was wrong with the puddle before anybody else, although she had an advantage over the star in her goddamn eye. And it's at this point that I throw over to Fresno so he can squee about mirrors.
Okay, kids. So, if you've watched one of these things before, you know that during the Clara Oswald era, specifically the Clara Oswald Capaldi era, I hit on the running theme of the fact that Clara was a dark mirror of the Doctor and being more like him, and I ran this metaphor to the fucking ground. I assumed, therefore, that when Clara left, that whole thing would fade away. Imagine my goddamn surprise when the monster of this episode is a puddle in which reflections are shown incorrectly in it, and it turns into this ghost Heather, which literally mirrors everything you say in it. Stevie Moffat has to watch the show. What is this? He knows.
I'm convinced at this point that he's a secret listener to this podcast. Somehow.
In which case, hi Moffat, I didn't mean everything that I said about
you. It's going to be like the pro-Jared Reggie thing. What's the worst thing you said about my era of Doctor Who? And say it to my face.
But seriously, Moffat, what you did in this episode, keep doing it.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan in the Force of the Night gets thrown out of the window feet first.
Before the flood, it was kind of bad. Ah!
He just clotheslines you, takes your head off. Yeah, but we didn't get too much of regular Heather. The real spotlight is on.
Can I interject? Can I interject with one thing that I just realized when I looked down at my note?
You can.
It relates to mirroring.
Of course it does.
Of course it does. There's a bit where Bill gives the Doctor a rug for Christmas, and he's like, "I didn't give you anything." And then they talk, and she mentions her dead mom, who she doesn't have many pictures of. Then she goes home, and her foster mom turns out found a lot of pictures of Bill's mom. And Bill's looking at this nice sad scene and tearing up. It's pretty emotionally affecting. And then she looks in one of them, and she sees in the reflection of a mirror in the picture, it's the Doctor with the camera.
Yeah, I love that little moment. It was sweet and it was emotional, and I knew you'd get a kick out of it because of the mirror, but I thought it was one of the highlights of the entire episode, honestly.
Oh, yeah. It's also a good scene, not just for my stupid mirror bullshit.
We know that Bill had a crush on Heather, quite clearly.
Oh yeah, they were gay.
Heather liked Bill, but I'm not sure if it was a crush on her end as well. Like the real Heather, not the monster.
I take that reading. I would say so.
Right. And that brings me to my next point. I think if Bill does leave at the end of the series, and people have been trying to say, well, maybe Pearl Mackie will go to give a clean slate to Chris Chibnall, so we have a new companion and a new Doctor and a new showrunner all at the same time, maybe Heather is the catalyst behind that. Maybe she gets her back, or maybe she goes off with the fuel monster, as weird as that would be, because Heather's fate is unknown. Bill says that she's dead, but the Doctor never actually answers the question if she's alive or dead, or if she could be saved or not. It just goes, it's possible, or maybe.
I will say one thing about this. I know I made a big hullabaloo in our Series 9 wrap-up video about how Clara earned her whole departure where she gets to go off in space and time. And I made a big thing about how you can't do this every time, but every so often we're owed it. Yeah? Doing that with Bill running off to have space adventures with her lesbian girlfriend again, It's kind of the samey note, and I don't know if it would really fit, but if they do
I
it,
would
we'll see how they
rather it
handle
wasn't that she went off to have adventures with a space adventures with a lesbian girlfriend, but she actually just left to have a relationship with the real Heather.
Yeah, that would be fine too. If they do that, that's fine.
And I realise that kind of goes against what I said about, don't make her sexuality a big part of the plot. But for the end of her particular story, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'm just talking more about the whole if Bill decides to run off with the fuel monster into space.
Yeah, that might be a bit.
That's kind of a bit samey.
Yeah, maybe don't do that more.
I don't object on the grounds that it would be unsatisfying. And for Bill,
I mean, you've written all the episodes up to the end of Series 10 and possibly the Christmas special as well. But if you listen to this, don't do that. Don't have Bill go off with the fuel monster.
I don't think she will, just because not only is it kind of samey as Clara, but also the fact there's 16, 15 episodes that are going to be in episode 10 or season 10.
12.
12.
It's a series of 12 again.
There's 12. There's going to be an unknown amount of time between that. She'll kind of get over Heather.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like they barely knew each other. They sort of looked at each other.
It's just the way that she asked the Doctor, will we ever see her again? He said, who knows, it's a big universe. That, to me, suggested they could come back to it if they wanted to.
Well, we'll see.
But not entirely sure.
We'll have to see.
I thought the visual effects on the monster were actually pretty good in general. There were a couple of dodgy CGI shots I spotted. When she's materialising out of thin air into the Doctor's office, really cool shot, but on a couple of the camera angles, it looked like really dodgy CGI. It kind of took me out of the moment.
Doctor Who having really dodgy CGI, take a shot.
I know, but it took me kind of out of the moment, which is a shame. The dripping water effects on her were really clever, and they were accomplished in two ways. The actress is called Stephanie Hyam, but it was people pouring bottles of water on her, but they also rigged up some tubing and a hose to go through her trousers and up into her sleeve.
Neat.
So that was how they accomplished the dripping water effect, which I thought was really good. Also, an observation I'd like to make, the monster of this episode is quite literally nightmare fuel.
Yes.
I'm here till Thursday, folks. Try the veal.
Christ.
But it's nightmare fuel. Both literally and figuratively. It's kind of terrifying, actually, the idea that it can take any shape it wants and then it can just have you without you even knowing about it.
It could find them throughout space and time,
yeah,
literally.
It went in the middle of a Dalek-Movellan war and came out unscathed.
It was there really instantly.
I really like also the fact that doubled as, again, if we're doing this as a whole pilot, an introduction of what the TARDIS can do, because they're getting away from Heather. First they get in the TARDIS and bigger on the inside. Then it travels down into the vault, which you've seen. Then it travels to Australia. Then it travels 23 million years and halfway across the universe, or whatever.
Yeah. And the whole reason for that is it's tracking Bill. It's got a connection to Bill. I do think that the whole reasoning behind the fuel choosing Heather as its pilot and Bill as its passenger is wafer thin. I do. Mm. It's mostly in there to give Bill and Heather a reason to be in the story, but it's clear that Moffat cares more about emotional beats and emotional payoff than storyline.
Wow, you really think that?
And I'm just going to have to accept that. I've argued against this for donkey's years, but I'm just going to have to accept that. And we're near the end of the era anyway, and Chris Chibnall might have a completely different approach. So I'm not going to complain about it, I'm just going to let it happen.
Good, because you would be wrong.
Okay, there is that.
I will say, the more that we talk about it, the more I realize that, yeah, this really is a pilot for new people.
Yep, it is. And
I wonder if it works.
But yeah, as monsters go, Heather was alright. She wasn't, like, the best, but she wasn't the worst.
Ooh, I just remembered. She, in Australia, she literally comes out of the mirror to get them.
Down your drinks, everybody.
Down the bottles!
Down the bottles. I am so sorry.
I mean, come on! What do you want from me? The show is literally.
I'd like to make a preemptive apology to our audience's livers and kidneys, because we are putting them through the ringer. tonight.
I'd like to apologize to Alcoholics Anonymous for the increased patronage they will have in this
I'd also
review.
like to say that our new service, where you can buy a new robotic liver, will be going up tomorrow morning. So if you want in, that's $1,000 just to get a new liver. Send it to me at my PayPal at paypal.com.
I knew you had an ulterior motive. I just knew it. Ugh.
What? No, I'm doing
What do you expect, Rainick? They don't have the NHS in America.
Oh, topical. Topical. Thanks, Obamacare.
Wait, are you throwing my lack of good free health care in my face?
I'm not.
Do I have to come up there and smack you with something that
I didn't
only
say
Americans
anything.
have, but I can't think of?
If you do, I can afford to take care of it.
Oh my god, really?
I'm sorry. That was a bit mean, but I couldn't resist.
I think we better move on before Kat literally chokes a bitch.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, just a few more little things to mention then. The Daleks had very little screen time, which again was a big misleading thing from the trailers where they appeared to be featured quite prominently. And the Daleks now have featured in either the first or the second episode of the last 4 series, counting this one. Either the first or the second. Sometimes both, of course. Last series was both first and second. But thankfully, we don't have to. They don't have to pay the nation state anymore, which is good.
Oh, really?
Well, no, they have to pay them for every appearance they make, but they've made their appearance for the series now, so we don't have to see the Daleks again. Is what I mean. They still have to pay them.
Yay, loopholes.
Yay, loopholes. I did like the I've mentioned it already, but the image of the Dalek that was actually Heather with the star in its eye stalk, that was cool. And there were only 6 actors. This was actually quite a small scope episode. There were plenty of extras, both in the university scenes and also in Australia running for their lives. But there were only 6 actors credited at the end. And they were, obviously, Peter Capaldi, Pearl Mackie, and Matt Lucas, our 3 leads. Then you had Stephanie Hyam, who was Heather. You had Jennifer Hennessy, who was Moira, who is Bill's foster mother. And you might have spotted her in a previous Doctor Who episode.
Ooh, I know the one. I don't remember the title, but it's the one with the highway and the face of Bo where he dies.
Give the girl a peanut. It is indeed Gridlock.
Gridlock, that's it.
Yeah. She played...
I totally knew that the whole time.
She played the wife of the cat guy, the cat pilot.
Her name is Valerie.
Her name is Valerie. Very good. You've been doing your homework. I'm impressed. Her name is Valerie.
Just have the Wikipedia open.
See, I tried to give you credit, goddammit, and then you just threw it back in my face. And the 6th actor credited was Nicholas Briggs, the voice of the Daleks. Even though he was barely in it, but he has to be credited. And so that was the pilot. What did we think about it overall then? Good, bad, indifferent?
Very good.
I liked it. More, please.
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable, but I do have one small comment to make. It felt less like an episode at times and more of a means to an end. That end being to introduce us to Bill and get her inside the TARDIS so her adventures can start properly.
Yeah.
And I think it succeeded in that regard, honestly. I would just like now the majority of the stories of the series to be grand adventures, the Doctor and Bill, and when he's present, Nardole, just going off on big wild adventures and having fun and
show me a bunch of weird shit I've never seen before.
And that too, yes. And I'm hopeful they might do that because Stephen Moffat said that this series is about getting the Doctor and Bill and Nardole and just throwing them at the universe. So we might get that, who knows. So yeah, I think after the emotional punches of Series 9, I need a break from all that emotional stuff. So just stick to Grand Adventures, please. And yeah, that's the end of the pilot, and I think, as I say, overall consensus was it was pretty good. Next time, then, we have Smile.
Yay.
Written by that name which shall not be mentioned.
Yes.
Oh shit! Lord Voldemort wrote the fucking Doctor Who?
He might as well have done. I've got the official synopsis for this. Don't worry, Kat. It doesn't give anything away. It's just everything we've seen in the trailer. In the far future, at the edge of the galaxy, there is a gleaming, perfect city. This brand new human settlement is said to hold the secret of human happiness, but the only smiles the Doctor and Bill can find are on a pile of grinning skulls.
Wait, hold on. Didn't they already do this episode? With Classic Who?
You've jumped the gun a bit there, but
oh no!
Something is alive in the walls, and the emoji bots are watching from the shadows as the Doctor and Bill are trying to unravel a terrifying mystery. You've hit the nail on the head. This reminds me a little bit of the hand bots from The Girl Who Waited, coupled with the Happiness Patrol.
Boy,
I will leave that to you, whether that's a good thing or not.
It's like, I'm sorry for jumping the gun there, but I didn't actually get to watch the trailer for the next episode.
No, you're okay. So
it was like, wait a minute.
The trailer didn't show a whole lot. It showed the Doctor and Bill on an alien colony or a human colony, and the emoji bots, who are the monsters for the episode, which we've known for a long time.
To the Happiness Patrol, yeah. But we'll see once the episode airs.
Yes, the emoji bots, only slightly less stupid than the Emoji Movie.
Guest starring Sir Patrick Stewart as Poop.
Is that actually true?
He's literally voicing the poop emoji, yes.
I need to kill something now.
Okay, don't worry,
How much
Kat.
is it to get to
Kat, hang on. I got you covered. I got the perfect solution for you to get rid of all that stuff. Are you ready?
Oh dear, what?
Mirrors.
Nope, doesn't feel better. Nope.
And on that bombshell,
drink up, and it will.
And on that bombshell, I'd like to thank both FreezingInferno and Kat for joining me to discuss the pilot. I'd like to apologise to the audience for giving them more severe alcohol poisoning if you followed the drinking game. If you're still alive at this point, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. And we'll be back next week in some form or other to review episode 2, Smile. Until then,
pray for us.
Until then,
Pray for us.
Thank you for listening, and bye for now.